Now at 10 and streaming crossroadstoday.com, a wave of emotion sweeps through the community as local religious leaders reflect on the legacy of Pope Francis. A traffic stop in Victoria leads police to a man wanted on multiple stalking charges, what we've learned about the case. And after decades of dedicated service, a familiar face in Victoria County is hanging up his badge. Find out who's saying farewell.
And the rain and the clouds have finally dissipated here in the Crossroads, but they are going to return. But when are they going to return? I'll have that in weather.
And the Victoria Advocate revealed their all-area basketball selection from this past season. I'll tell you who was selected later on in sports.
You're watching 25 News now at 10. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Don Brubaker. Shauna Curry has the night off. Victoria police arrest a man on 3 charges of stalking. Police made a traffic stop on 36-year-old Daryl Carson just before 7:30 Friday night on Salem Road. Officers then found he had 3 outstanding warrants for stalking. The arrest warrants show Carson is accused of persistently harassing 2 women, causing them to feel unsafe. He's being held on a total of $150,700 bond. Carson is also awaiting trial for an assault causing bodily injury charge from 2024. Firefighters responded to a vehicle fire just after 8 a.m. today. It happened in the parking lot of Victoria Mall off North Navarro. 25 News Now has reached out to the Victoria Fire Department for more information and is still waiting to hear back. President Trump today directed all federal and state flags to fly at half-staff in commemoration of Pope Francis. The president said he signed an executive order to put the flags at half-staff just before leaving the White House for the traditional Easter egg roll event. The president marked the Pope's death in a social media statement Monday, saying, quote, "Rest in peace, Pope Francis. May God bless him and all who loved him," unquote. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt said there are no immediate plans for Trump to attend the Pope's funeral. The death of Pope Francis this morning has the Catholic community reeling worldwide. Here in the Crossroads, local church leadership is in shock after his passing. 25 News Now reporter Trenton Whiting joins us now with more details on the local reaction. Trenton?
Thank you, Don. I spoke with the leader of the Diocese of Victoria, Bishop Brendan Cahill. He says the church is grieving but united after the loss of Pope Francis. The death of Pope Francis is global news, but the local church is feeling the impact.
The first feeling for me was a sense of sadness and grief.
Bishop Brendan Cahill, leader of the Diocese of Victoria, has a connection with Pope Francis. He's been the Pope throughout Cahill's entire tenure as bishop. Cahill became bishop in 2015, 2 years after Pope Francis took the position.
When he became Pope, like how exciting it was, his messages, what he's preaching about, conversion of heart, to really be with the poor and the migrant and those who are suffering.
The Argentinian Pope Francis was the first person of Latin descent to become Pope, a position historically held by those born in Italy. The Crossroads have a rich population of people with Latin roots, and Cahill says Pope Francis's background made him more personable.
He said, I do come from the peripheries. I come from far away. I come from Argentina. And so he represents us in that way.
Our Lady of Victory Catholic Church will hold a Mass in honor of the Pope on Wednesday, April 23rd at 5:30 p.m. It's at the Cathedral at 1309 Mesquite Lane. Trenton Whiting, KAVU TV, 25 News Now.
St. Mary's Catholic Church in Victoria held a Mass earlier today to remember the life of Pope Francis. Francis was 88 years old when he passed from a stroke and heart failure. Local priest Christopher Fuchs remembers Francis as someone who's compassionate and merciful. He once met the Pope on New Year's Day of 2014 and recalls meeting him was a special honor.
The Pope is a very important person in the lives of all Catholics and really for Christians and people all around the world.
St. Mary's will continue to mourn the loss of Pope Francis for 9 additional days. This brings us to our viewer poll tonight. What do you think will be the Pope's most lasting legacy? Will it be social justice efforts or interfaith dialogue, church reforms, or advocacy for the poor? Overwhelmingly, our voters say 82% The Pope's most lasting legacy will be advocacy for the poor. We want to hear from you. Visit crossroadstoday.com/vote to take part, and we thank you for voting. The Victoria County Sheriff's Office is now charging a fee for funeral procession escorts. A $200 charge covers the service of 4 deputies and 4 marked patrol units. The policy took effect on April 14th. Since then, the Sheriff's Office has escorted 3 funeral processions in coordination with funeral homes across Victoria. Early voting for the May 30 election starts tomorrow, as also the deadline for mail-in ballot applications. Early voting in Victoria County is at the Dr. Patty Dodson Public Health Center Tuesday through Thursday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Friday, the hours for that day are 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Early voting runs through April 29th. Election day is May 3rd. Time to check on our weather. Let's go to Jacob Lozano with a first look at the forecast. I would not have elected to have rain on Easter Sunday, Jacob, but we still got it, so we're still getting more this week.
We definitely are. It truly was a blessing to get some of that rain, though. But the rain has died off here along the coastal band that we saw earlier. Where we saw literally 3 inches of rain, a little bit more than that too, here in Round and Refugio. About an inch, it just stuck. It was just stuck there along that the coastal bend area. So has it finally moved off into the region, but we're currently sitting at 71 degrees, and the humidity is starting to rise up again, and the southeasterly winds are starting to pick up once again. So that front is moving back northwards, but the rain is going to be here soon. So I'll have that coming up in our full forecast. Don?
Jacob, thank you. A Harris County deputy constable was shot during a shootout outside the Family Law Center in downtown Houston Monday afternoon. The deputy, Sheila Jones, is a 30-year veteran of Precinct 1 and a U.S. Army veteran. Officials say she and 3 other deputies confronted an armed man near the building around 12:30 p.m. when he opened fire. Jones was shot, and the suspect was also hit when officers returned fire. Jones was flown to Memorial Hermann Hospital and is in stable condition. Constable Alan Rosen says her bulletproof vest helped prevent internal injuries.
And this could have really been a very bad situation. So law enforcement does what it does, and that means that we neutralize the threat very quickly.
The suspect was also taken to a nearby hospital where his condition was described as stable. He was shot multiple times and will require several surgeries, but authorities believe he will survive his injuries. His identity has not been released at this time. A judge in El Paso accepted a guilty plea today from Patrick Crusius to state charges against him stemming from a racially motivated shooting spree inside a Walmart in 2019. That shooting left 23 people dead and more than 20 others injured. At today's hearing, the judge questioned Crusius to ensure he understood the plea deal and resulting sentences that would be imposed. Crusius said he did understand several times. He did not display any emotion during the sentencing. His attorney read a statement after the sentence was announced.
To everyone who lost loved ones, to those who were injured, to everyone whose sense of safety was violated, we offer our deepest, most sincere condolences. We know that the pain runs deep and cannot be erased. Today, Patrick Crusius pleaded guilty to the charges brought against him by the state of Texas. He has accepted responsibility for this horrific actions. This plea, following his guilty plea in federal court and the resulting 90 consecutive life sentences, brings judicial finality. Patrick will spend the rest of his natural life in prison. He will never again walk free. Patrick will leave prison only in a coffin on God's time.
Crusius is sentenced to 90 consecutive life terms without the possibility of parole. As Victoria County property owners get their 2025 appraisal notices in the mail, the Victoria Central Appraisal District is hosting an information session on property tax and the appraisal system. It's to educate residents on how property is appraised, how to apply for exemptions, and how to navigate the appeals process. It will be held Wednesday at 6 p.m. at the Dr. Patty Dodson Public Health Center. Officials encourage residents to attend, ask questions, and learn more about how the property tax system works. Bird flu has been affecting egg prices, you know well, and now Texas Parks and Wildlife reports bird flu was found in wild birds in Wharton County. Recent testing has found bird flu in foxes, raccoons, striped skunks, and domestic cats in 6 other Texas counties. State authorities say the transmission risk of bird flu from infected birds to people remains low, but people should take basic protective measures if they must make contact with wild animals. Victoria County Fire Marshal Richard Castillo made it official today. He's retiring. After years of service in multiple roles, including county constable, justice of the peace, and most recently fire marshal, Castillo has been a steady presence in the county. Judge Ben Zeller said Castillo brought calm during tough times and set an example with his dedication to public service. The Commissioner's Court thanked him for his commitment and wished him all the best as he steps into retirement.
Richard, I'd like to convey my gratitude and my thanks for not only serving the county, but all the different roles in this community that you've been a part of, everything from serving in the Victoria Fire Department, your elected roles, and your current role as the Fire Marshal for Victoria County. Thank you for your service, not only to the people of Victoria County, but to all the people of this community. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Well, a come-and-go reception will be held for Castillo on Thursday from 4 to 6 p.m. at the county fire station. Be sure to catch the latest episode of Let's Grow Texas Ag. Let's Grow Texas Ag will be on KMOL at 6:30 p.m. on Wednesday. We are also streaming on Zeem, so lots of ways to tune in to Let's Grow Texas Ag. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click the notification bell. Then you can see Crossroads Today on YouTube. And stay with us. Coming up on 25 News now at 10. Student loan collections are coming back for millions in default. What the end of the pandemic era pause means for borrowers and how to get help. Also, the White House weighs incentives for marriage and childbirth as birth rates fall. What's being proposed? That's after the break. Department of Education announced it will restart collecting federal student loans in default on May 5th. It will end a roughly 5-year-long pandemic-era pause and could impact more than 5 million borrowers. Student loans go into default after 270 days without payment. The department is urging borrowers in default to start making a monthly payment, enroll in an income-driven repayment plan, or to sign up for loan rehabilitation. If not, the federal agency could order non-federal employers to withhold a percentage of an employee's income to pay the delinquent debt. The announcement comes as the Trump administration works to dismantle the education department. Tuesday is Earth Day. It's a day to focus on environmental issues. Many communities will host conservation events to mark the day. One nonprofit is hoping to make the environment cleaner year-round. It's called the Buy Nothing Project. Today's Consumer Watch explains how it works and why it could save you money.
Millions of tons of waste end up in landfills every year in the U.S., according to the Environmental Protection Agency. The EPA estimates Americans throw out about 5 pounds of trash every day, and that doesn't even include the garbage that ends up in our oceans.
We found that there were a lot of plastics washing ashore with every single high tide.
Liesl Clark was living in Bainbridge Island, Washington, when she noticed just how much trash was ending up on their shores and wanted to do something about it. In 2013, she and her friend Rebecca Rockefeller launched a local Facebook group where neighbors could reuse and share items.
Post here and say what you're going to the store to buy and see if your neighbor might have it.
It's called the Buy Nothing Project. Clark says it's grown to 12 million users in communities all over the world. Here's how it works. Communities create a private Buy Nothing Facebook group just for people who live in that area. That's where you can post items you no longer need, blenders, kids' rocking chairs, clothes, and see if one of your neighbors wants it, like this person who's giving away picture frames. If you're interested, you comment on the post and coordinate the exchange. Those items don't end up in the trash, and it helps a neighbor save money.
There is a power in togetherness and sharing.
You can also ask neighbors for items you're looking for, like this parent who wants a bike for her daughter. Multiple neighbors responding, offering their old bikes.
They're connecting with their neighbors. They come for the stuff. They stay for the community.
That community connection seen through posts like this one, a parent giving away this stroller that she says she received and enjoyed from this group and now wants to pay it forward. For Consumer Watch, I'm Jen Sullivan.
The White House is considering ideas to promote marriage and childbirth as conservative groups urge a focus on family issues during falling birth rates. The New York Times reports proposals include a $5,000 baby bonus for new mothers, scholarship priority for married applicants and parents, and funding for fertility education programs. The Trump administration has not said whether any of these ideas will move forward. There are many factors that can affect your ability to become pregnant. One common infertility treatment to know about is intrauterine insemination, or IUI.
IUI, sometimes called artificial insemination, involves placing sperm directly into the uterus using a small tube. This helps more sperm reach the egg to increase the chances of fertilization. IUI can be easier and cheaper than in vitro fertilization, a procedure where the egg is fertilized in a lab and then transferred into the uterus and only takes a few minutes at your doctor's office. IUI can be helpful in cases of unexplained infertility, same-sex female couples, and anyone using a sperm donor. It is best to talk to your doctor or a fertility specialist who will perform tests to see if IUI is right for you. With this Medical Minute, I'm Melissa Adon.
Experts say some parents may be waiting too late to talk to their kids about puberty. Recent expert opinion on the issue comes during new research on the topic. The C.S. Mott Children's National Hospital poll on children's health was released today. It found roughly 41% of parents say they talked with their child about puberty only when prompted by the child. Sarah Clark, the poll's co-director, says this can lead to confusion and anxiety in children. Instead of waiting, Clark suggests giving your child information in bits and pieces over time. A new study says unsupervised use of magic mushrooms is rising in the U.S. Usage jumped 188% from 2019 to 2023 among adults over 30 and 44% among 18 to 29-year-olds. The study says magic mushrooms use now outpaces cocaine, illicit opioids, meth, and LSD. While psychedelics show promise in treating mental health conditions, the rise also matches an uptick in poison control calls. Doctors warn unsupervised use can cause harmful hallucinations, agitation, and injury. Crossroads today is inviting you to join in and celebrate Earth Day by showing off your doodles. Show us what Earth Day means to you. We'll share your Earth Day doodles on our social media and feature one doodle per day on Sunrise. Submissions are open now through April 25th. Just come to crossroadstoday.com. And Jacob, am I right? Tomorrow is Earth Day?
Yes, sir, it is. And for this Earth Day, we're going to have those southeasterly winds return, but are we going to see those rain chances? We'll have that answer coming up after the break. Well, good evening, Crossroads. We got clear skies right now as the front has began to dissipate here, and it's going to start moving back north where we got those southeasterly winds already beginning to flow at 6 miles per hour, but that humidity is starting to rise, which is going to pose a little bit of threat of some fog, but I'll go over that here in a little bit. But satellite imagery shows that the rain has gone away as well as the clouds, but they are going to begin to return as we go in through our daytime heating, as we start to see, we saw about 3 inches of rain here in Refugio and about 1 inch and 2 just across the entire coastline. So a good downpour here that we desperately needed. But here's the front line starting to begin to move backwards. We're going to start to see those showers begin to pop up here tomorrow as well as into Wednesday, and as well as a dry line that is going to cause some severe weather up in the Texas Panhandle. But fog is going to be a bit of an issue here tomorrow morning, where we see fog begin to pop up as those southeasterly winds begin to return. So it's just going to be a push of just fog. Those will begin to dissipate here as we go on to about 7 a.m. That's when we'll start to see that dissipate here, 8 a.m. as well. Now, rain, that's what we're going to be talking about. So we're going to see some showers begin to pop up here Monday Monday night into Tuesday. And, well, we got cloud cover coming in here Tuesday morning, and that's when we're going to see that big push of rain coming into Tuesday morning. But 4 p.m. here, we're going to see those scattered showers and thunderstorms becoming very isolated here in the region. But Wednesday, we're going to start to see a push here of just some strong thunderstorms, not strong, but isolated to scattered thunderstorms across the Crossroads region. And that's going to be our morning shower that we're going to see here Wednesday. And it's going to remain pretty isolated as we go on through the day here in Wednesday afternoon time frame. But the rainfall totals are looking to be around 1/4 of an inch here as we go in through Thursday. So more additional rainfall is all we need, is all we can ask for. And look, 0.31 there in Port Lavaca, 0.23 in Victoria, and 0.22 here in Cuero. So any rain can continue to help because we are a bit down right now. But 72 degrees this morning is what we're seeing. Tomorrow morning is what we're going to see across the region. And we're going to get up into the 80s here, 83 there in Victoria by 4 p.m., 86 up in Gonzales. And we're going to do this all over again. It's just going to be a bit muggy in the morning, 70 degrees, may see a little bit of fog rolling in, and we'll get up into the 80s once again here for our daytime highs. Now, the mugginess is going to be the conversation for the next 6 days. We're going to be right around humid to very humid conditions, as that dew point is going to be rising as we go into the weekend time frame. But for your daily planner here in Port Lavaca, we're going to see a couple showers, maybe some scattered thunderstorms here around noontime, but 83 degrees is what we're going to see as those winds begin to push back out of the southeast at 14 miles per hour with that warm front, as well as here in Cuero, we're going to see cloudy conditions, a little bit of fog in the morning, but mostly cloudy skies, maybe a 20% chance of rain here right around noontime, and southeasterly winds once again beginning to move back into the inland direction. Now, isolated thunderstorms here in Victoria, a little bit of fog here in the morning time. That'll dissipate to mostly cloudy skies. will be at 84 degrees and southeasterly winds at about 15 miles per hour. Now the next 7 days, well, 30% chance here tomorrow, 40% here Wednesday. That's going to be our best bet for scattered thunderstorms across the Crossroads region. But we're going to stay at 20% here Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And it's going to be muggy conditions as we stay in the 80s. Now don't forget to scan the QR code for more weather, news, and sports. And here's Max with sports.
That's right, Jacob. And tomorrow is the district certification deadline for all the softball teams here in our area. So I'll tell you who are all the first-round matches we know so far coming up in sports. Good evening at Crossroads, and our partners with Victoria Advocate, they revealed their all-area district awards for basketball here. And here are a couple of the standouts that they kind of mentioned. First, with the top girls selection, with the girls offensive player of the year going to Cuero's star Arissa Carbonara, and then girls defensive player of the year going to Tidehaven's Mary Johnson. And the girls newcomer of the year also going to a Tidehaven player, Adriana Abotes. And coach of the year going back to Cuero, and Cuero's Amy Crane, which again, she is a sweetheart, a great coach there for the Cuero Lady Gobblers. As for the boys MVP went to Yoakum's Gage Harrison, offensive player of the year, went to Shiner. Probably remember him as the quarterback for the Comanches this past season, and basketball star Carson Schutte. And then the boys newcomer of the year went to Victoria West, Matt Caden. And again, those are the kind of the big selections. But if you want to see the full list there, I'll have all the girls and boys first team district and also more from the Advocate. You'll have the full list later on our website, crossroadstoday.com/sports. Now, so let's go to the softball area where round one of the playoffs begins this Thursday through Saturday for multiple Crossroads teams. We're starting in the 2A and 3A ranks. And 2A, the top-ranked Shiner Lady Comanches will face the Agua Dulce Longhorns at the Larry Kiesling Sports Complex this Thursday night at 5 p.m. They'll have game two then that same day tomorrow. That'll be a Friday, and if necessary, game will also be there on Friday as well. Then two Crossroads teams will face off in Ganado and the Ganado Madians and their Furial Lady Cats. They're going to play at Sinton High School. This first game will be Thursday night at 6 p.m. with game two 20 minutes after that one. Then possibly, if it needs to be, a game three will be on Friday at 7. Then 3A, the Tidehaven Lady Tigerettes facing the Poth Pirates on Friday for game one at 7 p.m. with games 2 and 3 on Saturday. Then top-ranked Hallettsville Lady Brahmas, been a top team this year, face the Nixon Smiley Mustangs on Thursday for game one. That's going to be at 6 p.m. at Cuero Municipal Park. And finally, how about Goliad facing another Crossroads team, the Yoakum Bulldogs? That's going to be Thursday at Kennedy Turf Complex. It's going to be at 5 p.m. with games 2 and 3 on Friday. Now, it's all the 2A and 3A. We're going to go over to 4A and 5A teams now who made it into the playoffs. First, the Cuero Lady Gobblers. They're facing the Pearsall Mavericks. That game's going to start on Thursday at 7:30 p.m. at Three Rivers High School. Games 2 and 3 will be on Friday. Then the El Campo Lady Birds are going to face the Calhoun Sand Crabs. Game 1 is going to be Friday at 6 p.m. at Palacios High School. Then games 2 and 3 will be there on Saturday. Then Victoria East, they're going to go play Spring Woods Tigers. We've seen them play that a lot in that same new district realignment. They're going to play Thursday at 7 p.m. That's going to be then for that one for those teams. Then Victoria West, they're going to face the Milby Buffs on Thursday at 5 p.m. at Wharton High School with games 2 later on Thursday, and if necessary, game will be Friday. And then how about shout out to the St. Joseph Lady Flyers? They're facing Munster Beaumont on Friday at the Field of Dreams at 6 p.m. So congrats to all these teams in the softball area making the playoffs, and I can't wait to see how it goes this Thursday. And finally, how about one of college basketball's biggest stars? He's ready to enter the pros, and Cooper Flagg, he announced on social media that he will declare for the 2025 NBA draft after one season with Duke. Some analysts expect the 18-year-old will be the #1 overall pick. All the Blue Devils, they fell short there at the last championship run there, the Don's Houston Cougars. Flagg, though, is still named their National Player of the Year and, again, had AA awards, Duke University. He also released a statement online which he said, "League next, Duke forever. Thank you, Cooper Flagg." I think he's going to be a star for sure at the next level. Can't wait to see what Cooper Flagg does there in the NBA. That's going to do it here in sports. Don, back to you.
Thank you, Max, and stay with us. Coming up on 25 News now at 10. We'll take a last look at your weather. Plus, social media fueled Dubai chocolate craze drives pistachio prices higher. Sounds like a nutty story to me. Well, it seems like the price of just about everything is going up, but that's not stopping candy shops from selling and selling out of a treat made popular on social media. It's called Dubai chocolate, made of milk chocolate, pistachio cream, and kataifi, shredded phyllo pastry. That demand is having an impact on pistachio prices. The Financial Times reports pistachio kernel prices rose from $7.65 a pound in 2024 to $10.30 a pound now. Oh, it's going nuts.
I was going to say.
Kenyan runners Sharon Lokedi and John Career pulled off thrilling wins at this year's Boston Marathon. Lokedi shattered the women's course record to defeat compatriot and two-time defending champion Helen Obiri. Lokedi surged away from her rival in the closing stages and crossed the finish line at 2 hours, 17 minutes, and 22 seconds. That's more than 2.5 minutes faster than the previous record set in 2014. In the men's race, Career won a commanding victory at a time of 2 hours, 4 minutes, and 45 seconds. You know, I should have asked you, Jacob, to check the weather in Boston today for that. Was it maybe in the 50s, 60s?
Probably a little cooler, I bet.
It's definitely in the cooler side for sure.
Oh, yeah?
Definitely cooler than it is down here, that's for sure. Not as humid also, too.
Yeah, well, that's for sure, too.
But we're going to see those humid conditions actually last for the next 6-7 days as we get those southeasterly winds returning, as well as the fog beginning to come in here tomorrow morning. But 30% chance of rain tomorrow, increase to a 40% chance here Wednesday, and we'll stay at 20% for the next 4 days after that. Just a stray shower or thunderstorm may be possible here Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, but partly cloudy skies, and we'll stay well into the mid-80s. So
No flooding chances, though.
no flooding chances. I don't believe that.
All right, very good. Thank you, Jacob. Finally tonight, power is being restored at the University of Richmond after a snake short-circuited a critical piece of campus electrical equipment on Sunday. The university canceled classes on Monday as a result of the outage and expect to resume classes on Tuesday. A university spokesperson said a snake entered, quote, a central piece of equipment that safely delivers electrical power to our campus, unquote, through a small opening and short-circuited the system. You just can't trust those snakes.
I was going to say,
you know?
A snake? I mean, really, out of all?
I know. Oh, and probably the snake went, yeah, probably gone, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, well. All right, thank you, guys. Thanks for joining us. Join 25 News Now Sunrise at 5 a.m. Jimmy Kimmel Live starts now.